Quick question. Why is everyone so fascinated with the whole G2 thing? Is it just another page from our age-old obsession towards the West? Why do people spend a fortune and a hell lot of time restoring these machines which run on outdated technology? Well, what do I say? Watch till the end because we are gonna find out. We will begin with the basics. What does the annotation G2 stand for? The Royal Enfield brand, which was inducted in the year 1901, produced a wide variety of motorcycles. One among those were the single-cylinder, overhead valve engine-mounted motorcycles, which had serial numbers beginning with the letter G for both engine and frame. They had prevailed only for a short duration between 1946 and 1954. In the year 1952, Royal Enfield in the Redditch factory began manufacturing spring frames for all their motorcycles, and in exactly the same year, they had introduced the successor to the G engine. What came after G naturally inherited the G2 annotation, followed by a serial number which began with 1 going chronologically up. This sequence is the reason why you could identify the model of your G2 motorcycle just by looking at the engine and frame serial numbers. Question number 2. Are there variations to a G2? Till 1956-1957, the bullets used to be all England. They had magneto-dynamo ignition, but comparatively lighter crank than what is commonly known as the G2 crank. They had all their constant parts manufactured in England with part numbers engraved on them. We often come across terms in the internet such as Amal carburetor, Smith speedometer, Lucas ammeter, ignition switch, mag dynamo, SR magneto, patented neutral finder, Dunlop rims, crown monogram, stadium mirrors, and so on. The Redditch frame, as they are commonly called, were a single unit welded together in contrast with the bolted frames that are commonly seen nowadays. Then came the Indo-British bullets like this one here, which are characterized by a smaller version of the British U-frame and a heavier crankshaft weighing about 9.2 kilograms. These are apparently the best among the lot and are on most high demand, leading to subsequent high price. Thereafter came the bolted frame G2 with increased Indian made parts. The crankcase started becoming more shiny in these models compared to those which came before 1963. The round mudguards gave way to the box-shaped ones, the engine became noisier, handling became comparatively sluggish, and so on. From 1968 onwards, the G2 serial system got replaced by the B system, commonly called in India as B1 series. When the Redditch factory had shut down somewhere in 1970, they still had excess of G2 engines which were exported to Madras, and that's the basis behind the argument that early B series engine or G2 engines restamped. The G2 cranked version began disappearing by 1972, and then everything is regarded as purely Indian. Question number 3. What's so special about a G2? Apart from a few specifics, it kinda looks similar to any other Castian bullet on the outside. So what is it that distinguishes the British bullet, apart from the obvious better build quality and durability? Is it just about the fancy spares that I had mentioned before? I had ridden 7 G2 bullets till date, and boy, they're good. You don't need to nurture an elephant if you got one of these. They're like ponies. Okay, I'm being a bit dramatic. But one thing is for certain, they are magnificent to ride. Negligible vibration, amazing handling, great pickup, smooth gear shift, silent engine and exhaust, combined with scintillating looks, is not something that should be taken lightly. These beasts look so damn unique that you get a lot of attention when you're on one of these. Like I always used to say, a G2 bullet has a charm that tends to grow in you. Talking about the appeal, well, it looks stunning from every angle. It's a work of art, this one. A U-frame G2 motorcycle with all the original spares is a treat to the eyes. The retro classic look lives on through decades, and it will keep on doing it for years to come. Question number 4. Is it difficult to start a G2? A well-tuned G2 with proper engine timing needs only a feather touch sort of kick to start. And it will stay the same unless and until someone who has no knowledge of the system tampers with it. One other common misconception is the inability to take off like modern bullets. From my personal experience, the old beast, if worked upon nicely, would perform as good as any other contemporary bullet. Another advantage that I have noted in a G2 bullet is the endurance to high speed and rash riding that a normal CI bullet haven't. Question number 5. How difficult is it to maintain a G2 and procure spares? Unless you are keen on purchasing a Mag Dyno or an SR Magneto model, the upkeep is quite simple. There are so many experienced bullet mechanics in India that you will never find it difficult to tackle day-to-day issues. The overall system is much similar to any other CI bullet. Till the time you won't rough handle the engine, it won't give you any kind of trouble except for routine maintenance. Most of the contemporary spares are compatible with G2 machines, and even original vintage spares are available in the market for a price. Many of the vintage collectors directly import parts from the UK. Out of all the vintage makes that are out there, such as Ariel, BSA, Norton, Triumph, AJS and Matchless, Royal Enfield is the most easy and economic to maintain. Vintage experts are of the opinion that RE is of no match to those mentioned before, but that's a different story. One point to note while riding a G2 is that it's not exactly your drop a gear and disappear kind of bike, even though I've seen people doing it. This one is specially made for those who would like to cruise slow and steady at 30 odd kilometers per hour without changing the gears a lot. A fellow enthusiast had once told me, "You don't ride a G2. A G2 rather rides you." Question number 6. How do we find if the G2 is original? The first and foremost thing to note in here is the engine and chassis serial numbers. If both of these are original with respect to the font size, spacing and location, then chances are high that it's an original piece. To learn how to read the serial numbers is something that comes out of practice. Another widely followed practice is to send snaps of the serial numbers to Mr. Graham Scarth, chairman of the UK Royal Enfield Owners Club, who is in possession of the Redditch ledgers. He is an expert in serial numbers and matches the engine and frame serials with the crankcase true number to verify the originality and voluntarily helps those who make email requests. The measure of original spares on the bullet also gives an identification of the model to a limit. It is highly probable that the engine serial would get buffed off over the years, but if the frame serial is not original, then a foul play must be suspected. Another thing is that one should not trust what is given in the registration certificate alone. That's a common mistake people in India make, and I'll be doing a detailed video of that shortly. Meanwhile, you could contact me in WhatsApp and Instagram with your queries, and I'm always ready to help. Question number 7. How much should I pay for a G2? Cost is entirely dependent on the originality and the amount of vintage spares present. There are G2 models in UP and Delhi with no originality that are sold for prices as low as 60 to 70,000. Then there are original old Madras models with 1.5 to 2.5 lakhs price range with mostly original spares. The original vintage registration also plays a role in determining the price. A few months back, an original old Kerala registered bullet got sold for 5.5 lakhs. I think I'll have to wind up with the video now. The topic is so vast that it's not humanly possible to cover everything in one go. I'll be coming back shortly with more in-depth information about this epic motorcycle. If you guys have liked the video, kindly subscribe to the channel and express your valuable opinion in the comment section. Once again, thanks for watching Son of a Gun.